back to Pink Ambitions. You're probably wondering what poem is she going to be analyzing today? Well, I'm not going to be analyzing any poem in this video, but I will be elaborating on other aspects of English, and that is steps on how to write an essay. So, before we could go through these steps, I first want to show you how many types of essays are there. So, So I just slided this in real quickly just to show you the different types of essays they are and explain each one. So we first have an argumentative essay. Argumentative essay. My cursor isn't working now. Oh, yeah, okay. Anyways, argumentative essay. It's you pick one side of the topic and you use facts and data to make the reader agree to your view. So, for example, if they say, should high schools ban cell phones for the entire day? That's an example of an argumentative essay. So, you either agree with it or you don't agree with it. And then you write your essay based on that topic. Then we have expository essay. So, you explain or inform about a subject. You do not share any personal feelings, only facts, clear facts. No, none of your opinions. So you do not use the words I think. Okay, it's only facts. So you need to be 100% sure about the specific topic. Then we have narrative essay. So where you tell a fake or real story where it has characters, a plot, and a clear lesson at the end. So basically, all of your novels, they're all narrative. You're basically writing like a mini novel on just 2 or 3 pages. It has a setting and a plot and all of that. Characters and all of that. Next, we have descriptive essay. My personal favorite. I love descriptive essays where you describe a person, place, or thing. You use sight, sound, smell, and words to make it feel real. So I love this descriptive essays so much. Basically, pick a place like Sunday afternoon at the beach. That could be your topic, and you would basically write about that only. Then we have critical essay. So you analyze a book, film, or artwork. You break down its themes and grades it effectively. So basically, it's like a review, but you don't use that topic. You just write about the book or a movie that you watched. Next, we have analytical essay. So examine a complex topic like a poem or a historical event, and you choose closely at its small parts, so you give all the finer details within. Then, definitionary essay, where you write an in depth piece about an abstract uh, concept. You define the words like honor or love. It's basically a definition essay altogether. Next, we have a synthesis essay where you will gather information from particular articles, books, or studies, and then you combine them to form a new argument. So, most likely you will not be getting a thickness or definitionary essay in your exams, but you still have a lot of options to choose from: your argumentative, expository, narrative, descriptive, critical, and analytic essays that you might not be get tested on analytical essay, but the rest you will surely will. Anyways, let's move on with this video and actually demonstrate how to actually write an essay and the steps on how to do so. So let's get this A plus plus. Okay, this is not for average learners. We are getting class topper essay marks here. So deconstruct the prompt. When we talk about the word prompt, we are talking about the topic. You must understand the topic in order to be able to write about the topic. If you do not understand one word within your topic question, do not choose it. Choose another one. Then you deconstruct. So you look for keywords like what are they telling you? Are they telling you to compare, analyze, or evaluate? What's the situation? Then you define the boundaries. Note a specific time period, geographical locations, or a guided requirement. Brainstorm initial angles, write down immediate thoughts before starting any research. So now you have you have got the topic. Your topic is here, and now say there are 5 words in this topic. Okay. Example: descriptive. Descriptive. Um, a magical garden. Okay. A magical garden. 3 words. You need to understand each of these words. I'm just putting this in an example. You need to understand each of these 3 words and I would say deconstruct this within your first paragraph. So in your introduction, speak about the garden, speak about its magic. Use the words that are the in the topic within your first few sentences in your introduction. Okay, this is your intro. So you should do that just to score brownie points. Yeah. Next, whatever thoughts that come into your head. So if you're imagining blue and pink fairies rustling in the dust, you write that down within a mind map. Okay. So you do a quick mind map and you write everything down. Whatever these tiny details that come into your head. Next, we are going on to step 2. So research and formulate a thesis for your essay. So find any credible evidence, use academic databases to gather supporting data. So now here we're talking about if this is not in your exams, then you are able to use a dictionary. Okay, no one really uses a dictionary anymore, but use Google, okay, or go to the library and get some books based on your essay topic, and research about it if this is not within your exams. Then create a thesis statement. So write a single debatable sentence that starts your main argument. This needs to be within your first introduction, in your body. You always need to have a thesis statement. This is so important. Then filter your resources. Keep only the data that directly supports or challenges your thesis statement. So do not add unnecessary information. If they are asking you to write about a magical garden, do not talk about the beach. Do not talk about the football game that you watched. Do not talk about any unnecessary information. Then we have map out a structure, draft the introduction, outline a hook, background context, and your thesis statement, organize body paragraphs, group your research into 3 distinct supporting arguments, plan the conclusion, summarize your main points, and state a broader significance of the topic. Now, this is basically what I said before. Usually, this comes with an introduction, 2 to 3 body paragraphs, and then your conclusion. Your conclusion and your introduction need to link. Whatever you said here about this magical garden should be repeated here similarly within your last paragraph. Also remember that your 2 body paragraphs should also have a little link within your conclusion, within your last paragraph here. In your conclusion, this last paragraph should have no new ideas. Do not talk about anything not relating or anything new. Even if it's about the topic, do not add in any new information in your last paragraph, in your conclusion. Then we have step 4, which is draft using a paragraph formula. So state the topic sentence, being each paragraph with a clear claim. Introduce your evidence, insert a relevant quote, statistics or factual examples, analyze the data, explain exactly how the evidence provides your topic, and then link back, connect the paragraph's conclusion directly to your central thesis. So what I always like to do is I like to use the Peel method, but the Peel method is not very critical for just any type of essay, it's usually only used for literacy essays. But it's also very important. Like for me personally, you can use it in any essay. So it's basically Peel, point, evidence, explain, and link. So basically, point, state your point. What is your point? What are you trying to say? Then evidence, back the evidence up, back your point up, your main message with the evidence that proves so. Then explain the evidence. What evidence did you just try to showcase? Then you link it back to your point. How does this evidence and this explanation prove your point? And that's basically it. You got your marks, your essay, topper A for your marks. Then we go on to step 5, edit and refine. So take a break, step away from a draft, not for a few hours if you are in exams, but check the flow. Read the essay out loud again, not in if you are in your exams. Then catch awkward phrases or weak transitions. Eliminate any grammar mistakes, punctuation mistakes, or passive voice. So always remember the tense in which you are writing. Your first paragraph can't be in present tense, and then your next two paragraphs in future tense, and your last paragraph in past tense. No, that's not how it works. Your full essay needs to be in one tense. Also, make sure to go back and check your essay 3 or 4 times after you write it, just to make sure that you have good grammar, because grammar can penalize you in so many ways that you can just lose marks just like that. So make sure you have very good grammar and your sentence construction is to the T. Okay, and that's all for today. Please be sure to see, I will make more videos on how to write an essay, and I will even go into detail of which steps are needed for each type of essay in my following videos. So please stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one. And I hope you get an A on your essay.